Who knew?
Traveling in Kentucky could be so much fun.
Hosted by Mary Engel and Justin Beaton.
Join us as we tour the Louisville Slugger Museum.
Tell me what hours the museum is open to the public.
The museum is open to the public Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and then Sunday, 11 to 5.
Okay. And is there a charge for entry?
Yes, if you go to our website, sluggermuseum.com, you will see that all the admission costs and our hours, and any kind of special events. So I encourage you to definitely go visit sluggermuseum.com. Gives you directions, gives you an idea of what we've got going on, upcoming exhibits, current exhibitions. So yeah, definitely go by and check it out.
Tell me about the gift shop.
Retail store, really great. We've got a lot of amazing product in there. We've got a lot of specialized mini bats, and you get a free mini bat at the end of your tour. But you can go into the gift shop and you will see that there are certain specialized mini bats with your favorite teams and your favorite players. You can also get a lot of different kind of Louisville Slugger paraphernalia, and most popular area in the retail store, personalized bats. You can get your name on pretty much any finished bat that you see in there, and up from mini bat sizes to full-size bats and bats with your team logo on them. You can actually order right there in the retail store, turn in your order before you go on tour. When you get off tour, your bat's ready.
And you actually, are those names branded? Like you brand the little...
They're actually laser printed on there. We actually have a laser engraver right there in the retail store, and puts your name right on there, and you can actually even sign, and they can scan your signature in and put your actual signature on the bat, just like the pro players.
There you go. Sign your own bat at the Louisville Slugger Museum.
George Herman Ruth, better known as the Great Bambino, or just simply Babe Ruth, one of our greatest baseball players of all time. Babe Ruth began his major league career in the year of 1914, which spanned all the way to the year of 1935. But Babe wasn't always the slugger we know him as to be. He actually first started out as a really great pitcher until he got famous for slugging for the New York Yankees. Joseph Paul DiMaggio, otherwise known as Joe DiMaggio, or Joltin' Joe. His debut was in 1936 for the New York Yankees, which ended in 1951, spending all 13 seasons with the New York Yankees. Joe is probably best known for his 56-game hitting streak, which is still a record today. In Joltin' Joe's 13-year career, all with the New York Yankees, he managed to put together some impressive stats, including a batting average of .325. Here at the Louisville Slugger Museum, there is a bat honoring Joe's 56-game hitting streak, and is preserved here today for all.
heat with your very own miniature baseball bat that you received from the gift shop and try your hand at batting at the simulator where you will receive a 90-mile-per-hour pitch. One of my favorite parts of the Louisville Slugger Museum is the history that they have preserved on A League of Their Own. As you well know, A League of Their Own was the only time in the United States history when we women played the actual professional sport of baseball. While the men were at war, we were playing baseball.
Jackie Robinson. He actually signed this himself. This is his signature. And if you notice, the bottom part of the contract is cut off. The reason why it's cut off is we take that signature from the bottom there. So he signed this one, and then he signed a couple others at the bottom. We took the one he wanted, and we make that signature a branding iron that we then put onto the back. Right. And we still do it the same way. This is how we've always done it. As you can see here, he signed this on Halloween of 1946. He was 27 years old. This is before April of 47. April of 47 is when he broke the barrier in Major League Baseball, so we signed him before then. Here, set of golf clubs. Ted Williams. Again, he signed this himself. Look how old he was whenever we signed him. 18 years old. And if you read the first sentence in the first paragraph under agreement, that's how much he signed for. $1.
Don't go away. You definitely don't want to miss what's next.
Welcome back to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
Now let's take a look at the bat room.
What you're going to see here is mostly players prior to 1980, new models we created for them. The system, if you notice these on the end of the bats, these are what we call factory stamps. And what these factory stamps are, we have a letter and a number. First letter of the last name for the player we first created that model for. And the number is just how that player appeared in the system. Now this is a system we didn't develop until 1946. So that's why you would see Jackie Robinson with a lower number, R17, than Babe Ruth, R43. With the Y4 bat right here. This is the Rudy York model bat. And this is a bat model that Joe DiMaggio preferred for a lot of his career. Now he did use several different models, but this is a model he liked to use during his hitting streak in 1949. Different bat models that Pete Rose used was the S2. The S2 model bat right here was probably one of the most popular bats of the 1960s. You'll find players like Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, Pete Rose. A lot of these guys use the S2 model bat. Museum, we've been very, very fortunate to get some of the bats that we have. Some like the Joe DiMaggio bat, Shoeless Joe Jackson, some really great.
And then what would be the insurance value on those bats?
Oh, they're priceless. They really are. Some go 6, some 7 figures.
Oh my God.
Because we're talking absolute rarity here.
Yeah.
Absolute rarity. The crown jewel of our collection, as you'll see later, is the game-used Babe Ruth bat from 1927. It was the year he hit 60 home runs, and the first 21 home runs he hit with that bat. And he marked the logo in the center, he marked around it like a gunslinger for each home run he hit. And we have it. It's one of the premier, if not the premier, Babe Ruth bat in all of baseball collecting.
And it's priceless.
It's just priceless. Absolutely priceless.
Stephanie Danielle Murray tried checking their swing in the batting cage, where you can pick your favorite player's bat designed for them by the Louisville Slugger. For example, Murray is using Hank Aaron's bat.
Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
We're here at the Louisville Slugger Museum with Nathan, the curator of the museum. Hi.
Hi, nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. We really enjoyed the museum, and we enjoyed our time spent with you today. And with us, we have Stephanie, Hans, and of course, our favorite Danielle. All right, Nate, can you tell me some of the basic history? Let's go way back to the very beginnings of the Louisville Slugger.
Louisville Slugger really started in 1884. Bud Hillerick turned the very first baseball bat for the company. And at the time, the company was a woodworking shop owned by J.F. Hillerick, his father. And J.F. Hillerick thought that the future of the business was in swing butter churns. And Bud Hillerick, who was a big baseball fan at the time, he went to a lot of the Louisville games with the Louisville Eclipse, which is a local professional baseball team. One day, Pete Browning, in 1884, broke his bat. And when the bat broke, he brought it to Bud Hillerick down to the factory. And Bud Hillerick turned him a new one. The next day, Pete Browning got 3 hits. And from that point on, word spread that, hey, there's this woodworking factory in Louisville that makes some pretty good bats. Maybe you should go and have your bats made there. And so that's how our company began. Now, J.F. Hillerick didn't want to have anything to do with baseball. Back then, it was a sport for gambling and womanizing and drinking. But in time, he saw the revenue that was brought about from the sale of these baseball bats. And he said, okay, this is a good idea. So from then on, we started making, that was our primary, that was the item we made primarily, were the baseball bats. And that's how we got started. We've been around since 1884. And the company has been run by a Hillerick family member ever since that time.
And I understand in 1894 was when they actually went to get a copyright or a patent for the...
That's correct. In 1894, they developed the patent for the Louisville Slugger name, and so that nobody else could use the Louisville Slugger. We officially became the Louisville Slugger. And J.F. Hillerick and his father went to business, and the company from then on was J.F. Hillerick and Son. But that changed later when we brought in Frank Grasby. Frank Grasby was a national hardware salesman who really put a lot of hardware stores on the map across the country. We hired him to help bring the business up to so we could reach national audiences. And as a result, Frank Grasby came on board, and that's where the Bradsby part of Hillerick and Bradsby comes in.
And the current location of the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, is this where back in 1884, was this the original location, or has it since moved to where we are today?
It's changed location several times,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
This used to be an old clothing furniture store.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 1800s. This building was actually built around the time that our company was being founded. And Son worked with a couple of other people. Jeff Hillerick worked with a couple of other people down on Clay Street. But then we moved to new quarters down on Preston Street right around 1901. And from there, we just kept it there, and then it was Spencer Street, which is also really close by. We moved into bigger facilities. We actually bought a large structure that used to be a tobacco company. And we bought this structure because our business was growing. And after that, we stayed in that building until 1973. And then in 1973, we moved across the river to Jeffersonville, Indiana. And that's where we started making golf clubs and metal bats and wood bats all in the same location. And then in 1996, we wanted to make our focus more on the wood bat side, then we relocated here downtown into the location.
1905. Thomas Wagner, myself, Flying Dutchman,
That's right,
signed the
yes.
contract. So give you all permission to use his autograph on the bats.
That is correct, yes. Honest Wagner, for us, that was really when the tide started turning. That's when we really started becoming this really big business, is when Honest Wagner signed that first contract. That gave us the right to use his name and likeness in the promotion of our brand. And Honest Wagner was a very popular baseball player. He would go on to hit over 3,000 hits and go into the Hall of Fame. And he was the first player we ever signed to a contract. And ever since then, we've signed thousands of players to contracts.
Yearly average of Louisville Slugger bats that you all sell?
Right here, all the wood bats that we make are right here. And within a year, we make, in this factory, 1.2 million wooden bats per year.
Do you ship overseas as well?
We do. We ship overseas. We've got a lot of representation in East Asia. We've got a lot of representation in the Dominican Republic, in the Caribbean, Europe even, and we really do sell a lot of bats to countries worldwide.
And there is a really interesting fact about you guys, or Louisville Slugger, that helps us who came back with injuries, particularly decapitations of the below the knee, above the knee, arms. And can you tell us a little bit about this team that plays for Louisville?
Exactly. There's a team called the Wounded Warriors Amateur Softball Team. And what these guys are people who've lost limbs in the line of duty, serving overseas, and they're part of this softball team. And a lot of those prosthetics, we have the Louisville Slugger logo on them, and we supply them with bats, equipment, gear, everything like that. And we're a big sponsor of theirs. Fabulous group of guys. And it's amazing to watch these guys go out there and play. I mean, they're exceptional ball players, and we're very, very proud to be part of the Wounded Warriors amputee softball team.
And we're proud that you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
And are there any other programs that you help with, that's sort of along the Wounded Warriors?
There's a lot of different programs and charities that we have with them.
Calculated like the actual percentage of Major League baseball players who use Louisville Sluggers versus, we were talking about Sarah, some of the other brands. Do you know roughly on about how many do use Louisville Sluggers versus? But I really don't even know the other ones that are out there as far as woodback goes, supposed to be from Kentucky, and I just, know of Louisville Slugger, but.
Well, it's interesting, for so many years, especially when we first, from 1905 on, and for much of the 20th century, we were really one of the only prime bat company in existence. We own such a large share of the market. Nowadays, we compete with about 32 other companies that are licensed to make bats for Major League Baseball. And out of those 32 other companies, we control 60% of the market share. So 60% of Major League Baseball players today actually use Louisville Slugger baseball. From a guy who's a baseball fan who loved the sport. And I think that's what's helped have our companies be so successful and stay around for so long, is that love of the game.
And he lived to be 85.
He did. He lived to be, I think it was about 80 years old.
You have a love for baseball. Tell us about you.
I grew up in South Carolina, and the closest Major League Baseball team to us was the Atlanta Braves. And naturally, I was the kind of guy that I didn't want to pull for the team that everybody else pulled for, so I pulled for the team that I often saw the Braves playing, so I pulled for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And there were no other Dodgers fans that I knew of in Myrtle Beach at the time, which is my hometown. And there were no other Dodgers fans in my high school, so I was proud to wear my Dodgers gear as a kid and know that nobody else was pulling for them. And kids would taunt me, he's like, who are the Dodgers? Oh, that's not a real team. But through thick and thin, I've pulled for them ever since I was a kid. And I've always been a fan of baseball. I've always been a fan not only of the sport, of the games, but also the history. There's nothing like baseball history. It goes back so far. The records of baseball are so hallowed. It's amazing how much baseball means to American history. It's such a close tie, and it's a really big part of who we are. And when this job came open, the job that I have now, a position came open a few years ago, at the very end of the job description, in giant letters, must be a fan of baseball. So I knew it was like, okay, I'm a curator, I can do these tasks, and I am definitely a big fan of baseball. And very thankfully, I've landed my dream job.
Not very many people can say that.
No, not very many, yeah. And Johnny Bench once said that find what you love and go do it. And that's what I did. I'm very thankful that I've been able to do that.
Some of the biggest names that you feel are synonymous for baseball.
Synonymous with baseball. When I think baseball, what are the first names that come to my mind? Yeah, a lot. Well, the first ones that come to my mind, Hank Aaron definitely is one of the big ones. Babe Ruth, obviously. It's interesting because some of the ones I think of were home run hitters mostly. Ted Williams, the guy played baseball like his life depended on it. Stan Musial, one of the nicest guys anybody could have ever met, a real true ambassador of the game. Tommy Lasorda, he was always my hero growing up as a Dodgers fan, and I got the chance to meet him last year, so definitely Tommy Lasorda. Yes, it was very nice. So those are some of the first names that come to mind when I think baseball.
When I think baseball, I think Pete Rose. I have to do Pete Rose. He's Cincinnati, even though we're in Kentucky. I still am a big Cincinnati Red fan. Do you girls have a preference in the baseball league?
Oh, I like Mark McGuire. Mark McGuire was one of my favorite growing up. And
Awesome. There was a shortstop. I'm thinking Sabo.
Chris Sabo from Cincinnati Reds wore the glasses.
Yes. I
Yeah.
liked him. And of course, Jose Canseco. I like Jose Canseco.
Oh, yes.
And Derek Jeter.
All right, Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I just pull for anybody who's playing against the Yankees. So it really doesn't matter.
I like that actually. I do like that.
Against the Yankees.
I'm not a big fan of the
They're
Yankees
okay.
myself. I mean,
In my book.
Yankees.
I mean, can't get a good man when he's down and they're down and I'm still kicking him. That's the reason I love for the Yankees. Right?
It's hard because the Yankees have always been like one of our biggest customers, the team itself. But it's a team.
Now, is this a Yankee back here?
This is actually looking right behind us here. This is Lou Gehrig,
Oh, okay.
one of the most famous Yankees of all time. And then on the rival team is Ted Williams, right behind me.
Okay.
Red Sox.
Red Sox Yankees, right behind us. Yeah. Wow. You looked at things like managing a game for pitching, and went out and got these guys, and they've been very successful. And this year alone, they're on their way to making the playoffs, and they may even win the American
That was
West.
the Oakland A's,
Oakland
correct?
Athletics,
And
right.
then, who actually tried to recruit him?
The Boston Red Sox.
Boston Red
Right,
Sox.
Boston Red Sox. They were about to get a lot of money, but he decided to stay in Oakland.
Yes, and he actually, but the Red Sox actually took the protocols that he had set during that year and applied them and actually modeled it in the World Series. They won the World Series that
Correct.
year.
Yes, that's exactly it. In 2004, and one of the things they did was the general manager in that season, in the middle of the season, shipped off perhaps one of the most popular players of the team, Nomar Garciaparra.
Yes.
While he could hit, he was also very error prone. And so they shipped him off, got a guy in, a lesser known guy, didn't cost a lot of money, but he was very effective in the field. And he could get on base. And it moves like that that helped the Red Sox propel them. Plus a lot of luck against the Yankees in the playoffs, down 3-0, helped them to their first World Series title in 86 years.
How long has Louisville Slugger been in business? How many years?
We started in 1884, and we haven't looked back.
Okay, so you celebrated the 50th anniversary.
In 1934.
Right. The slogan for Louisville Slugger has just recently been changed, actually this year, 2013, correct? And it had not been changed since 1980.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it. What's the new slogan?
Well, it's the new logo. We have a slogan too, is leave your mark. That's our big emphasis right there. Is like we really want people to leave their mark. How do you leave your mark? Is not just on the baseball field, but in general. We try to equate that to everyday life. How do you leave your mark on society? Who's left a mark on you? Who has inspired you? And we like to hope that Louisville Slugger inspires people to play better, that inspires people to take that next level. And we really encourage people, not just in sport, but in their daily lives. Take that next level, go to that next step. That's what leaving your mark is. And you can leave the marks on other people's lives in a positive way. And with the logo change, it was the first logo change we've had since 1980. And it's definitely different feedback. There's been some people and players, especially, who've been like, don't touch my bats, don't change my logo, this is how I've been successful with this logo, don't change it, and there are some who embrace it. You'll find a lot of veterans who really some of the veterans at first didn't really like the logo change, but it's grown on them. As long as the power rise does not come off of the bat, then they're okay, a lot of them are okay. You take the power rise off, then that can create a headache.
And you have those little things that say, okay, I put the little rabbit's tail in my pocket and it brings me luck. So, I could see some people say, oh, if you change the logo or the slogan, it may change the way I thought.
Players that's got in trouble for having their bats corked, I think is what they're
Yes, that
called.
is true, yes.
And the slugger, maybe where it was wood, was it ever accused of having that done?
No, and the good thing is that our factory is downstairs. People go on the factory tour. It's very transparent. You can see we don't have any machinery to actually put the cork in the bat. So
Okay.
people can see on the factory tour that we don't cork our bats. We're pretty open about our bat production.
Okay.
So we're not worried about that. If people see that. If the bats are corked, they can say, hey, we have an open factory. You can see we don't do that.
Right.
Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule, because we know you're busy. It's a busy job. It's a big place.
It is.
And I think people are missing it if they don't come out here.
Yeah.
It's well worth the trip.
Yeah, it's well worth the trip, and I don't care where you're at in Kentucky. If you're north, south, east, or west of the border. And I think in all the surrounding states. Louisville Slugger's been around a long, long time. And it's a very important part of Kentucky history.
Exactly. We try to make Kentucky proud with our history, and I hope we've done that over the years. So
Will you surely make us proud?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Absolutely.
Seriously? Yes. Okay. Any baseball fan has to go in there. And he was talking about a minute ago that you could see the fact.
Or don't strike out.
Okay.
Throwing that out there.
Alright, ready? Hold on. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and you're out.
Join us as we tour the Louisville Slugger Museum. Join us as we tour the Louisville Slugger Museum. Let me redo that.
Yeah.
Ready? Alright. Cut.
Sorry.
Okay, hold on. Oh, I was getting tangled. Babe Ruth began his career. I can't look at you.
We'll be right back.
Well, I think we finally covered it. What do you think?
Oh, sorry.
Anything.
Oh, what?
This is our ending, okay? This is our wrap,
Okay.
okay?
Oh, sorry. I'm ready to.
Okay. Just say, I believe that covers it all, folks. You say, start out.
So you want me to start?
Yeah, say, I believe that covers it all, folks.
So me look in that camera
Yes.
and say.
So I want you to look right there and say those words to that camera.
I believe we covered it all, folks.
And I believe this is a wrap. Hey! Oh my God, that's our ending. Or do you want to do a different ending?
No, that's fine.